Nika Rising for Blood Chief's Thirst. I expect we'll see a lot of that one.
I was going to bring that up, but I was kind of waiting for you to do it because it was your first preview article, if I recall correctly, for the new set. Blood Chief's Thirst is that powerful Fatal Push proxy.
Yeah, that is all true. We see that in the hand there, and it is a nice, cheap answer to Lotus Cobra that scales well into the late game.
Yeah, being able to kick it for 4 mana and kill anything versus being able to kill cheap stuff early for 1 mana, just almost exactly what you want on a removal spell. You know, like you want your removal spells that are situational to be really cheap early, but then this one specifically becomes a catch-all as the game progresses, and that's a really cool design.
See Archfiend's Vessel curve into Whisper Squad. Spikefield Hazard's going to take down the squad. Not the fastest start here for Callahan.
Yeah, but that Agadeem's Awakening, being able to come in untapped here as a land, allows her to play either Lurrus of the Dream Den or potentially Demonic Embrace.
Spikefield Hazard actually kind of irritating when you think about this Lurrus here.
Well, can Blood Chief's Thirst target your creatures? I don't know if it was templated to be one of those can only target your opponent's stuff. But like next turn, that Blood Chief's Thirst can maybe target the Archfiend's Vessel and then get cast from the graveyard to make a 5/5.
Let's double check on. But that is an interesting line. As we see a Fertile Footsteps for Tsuda getting set up on the mana.
Yeah, it's just any target. So that is a play that she can make. That's pretty cool.
Nice. There's a Swamp off the top. We have Demonic Embrace in the hand. Get some beatdowns going. Love it. Make that Lurrus fly. Here comes 7 points. Tsuda to 11.
Yeah, and even if the Lurrus dies, though, you still just can cast Demonic Embrace from hand or from graveyard by discarding a card from hand. And flying is a pretty huge deal here.
Here is Omnath for Tsuda. Do we have a Fabled Passage?
Yeah, Fabled Passage would allow for the double trigger, which would generate mana. Looks like we don't. Oh,
no
man.
Fabled Passage, just 4 life. But here, I think this Omnath's going to be a better target for the Thirst, and there it goes.
Oh, absolutely. That's a nice play from Nicole. Just absolutely dumpstering Tomohiro right now.
Tsuda to 7 in combat here. Needs some other kind of catch-up mechanic.
One thing about Omnath that is often overlooked, it's obviously incredibly powerful, but when your opponent is attacking you for lots of damage, the gain 4 life thing is like somewhat of a buffer, but other than that, if you're not generating the mana to just continually play more stuff, Omnath itself doesn't really do anything in combat other than provide a 4/4 body. You know, it's not like sweeping your opponent's creatures or anything.
Ooh, so there's Lotus Cobra, and on this turn, Tsuda has the Fabled Passage. Here's Omnath. Now, there's already been 1 land, so we're not going to see the gain 4 life, but we could see them make 4 mana. Alternatively, Tsuda could pass the turn and gain 4 life on Callahan's side of things. Pretty interesting stuff here as we do see the Fabled Passage cracked. Here's a basic island. Let's make 5 mana off of that, 4 from the Omnath and 1 of any color from the Cobra.
I don't.
So sorry, no. It's anytime this ability triggers. It's not just a land. Right. That is correct. Exactly. So it is the gain 4 life. My apologies.
Oh, you're good. Everything's shoving in here. The Serrated Scorpion or the Archfiend's Vessel are going to die. That Lurrus is going to come in unscathed. It's going to swing over in the air. No blocks though. Interesting.
Yeah, not interesting. Well, the thing about it is if you block the Vessel, then a 5/5 demon is going to show up because of Lurrus's ability. You block the Scorpion, you lose another life.
And it just comes right back.
Yeah. So I actually really like that no blocks. Callahan had 40 life. That Demonic Embrace Lurrus has been going to work. But I imagine if Tsuda can just start casting some big things, like this Genesis Ultimatum, 40 life is not going to be a huge problem. And Terror of the Peaks, yeah, that's a lot of damage. Oh boy. Terror of the Peaks.
Oh man.
Let's get an Uro and a Lotus Cobra. So we have a 6-ball and a 2. Get that Lurrus out of the skies. And that Terror of the Peaks, if that Demonic Embrace were to be a problem, that's also just a flying blocker. So that's a huge hit off the ultimatum.
Oh look, Magic Arena broke. So it's just now the client's broken.
This is something I think Arena actually does really well, is handling this volume of triggers. I've generated enough triggers playing Prowess to make Magic Online really freak out.
Yeah. You know what I can't wait for when they ultimately make Rainbow Mana. You know?
What does that
Like
mean?
instead of add a mana of any color, the cards just say you just get a rainbow. Like you know how like you tap a colorless land to make a colorless? You just tap a like Lotus Cobra just makes a rainbow. So it's like you don't have to like choose a red, then choose a green, then choose a blue. I think that's like something that'll probably be implemented at some point.
I expect that never to happen.
Yeah, you would.
It's messed up with like there's multiple mechanics that already exist that messed it up, and it's less interesting than making a mana of any color.
Fine. How do you like Terror of the Peaks? Just like casting Uro over and over and over again.
Pretty good.
Not bad, right?
Good. A lot of 6 damages going upstairs. Callahan's at 26, but this is not a story of life totals. This is a story of value. Speaking of it not being a story of life totals, Tsuda was at 7 not too long ago, now at 17. And I am not seeing Callahan coming back from this one. How about you, Todd?
I mean, I started talking about Rainbow Mana, so you know where I'm at. This is like
100 figures on the stack.
It's 100 years, Morty. Just 100 years.
I think if your opponent puts 2 copies of an ultimatum on the stack in the same turn, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah. You're not wrong. This game looks so promising for Nicole, but you're really just seeing the ridiculousness that is this 4-color ramp deck. You know, we earlier saw a couple versions get kind of pummeled by the aggro decks, but here the mono black aggro deck from Nicole just coming up slightly short, and then Omnath and a Jinx Ultimatum, man, that's just messed up. And the one of the cool things that keeps happening here that you might notice is that Tsuda keeps replacing their Omnath. And so the new Omnath with all of the landfall triggers gets to do all 3 things again. This is a combo turn. The game might end this turn from Terror of the Peaks and the Omnath and stuff. We're just going face a bunch. Like, is the game actually over right now? I don't even know.
Plenty of mana in the pool and a lot of cards hovering here. See some Uros ready to escape.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
giant beanstalk, giant boom. Forget about it. And this combo finish, this is almost necessitated because of the Omnath mirror, right? If you're trying to go long, just generating some mana, drawing some cards,
get out.
You're running into trouble if one of your opponents can just win the game the turn that they start going off. And also closes the game against other people. Terror of the Peaks fitting into that ultimatum shell really nicely there.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Terror of the Peaks not only clear the Lurrus, but like once the engine started going all in one turn, you can't really stop it, you know. And the second Omnath allows you to do more cool stuff. The Terror of the Peaks combined with Uro, you play like. I think what even happened at one point was Uro got cast from graveyard, stuck onto the battlefield, and then a Jinx Ultimatum found a fresh one. And then that one was chosen as the one to keep, which put both of them into the graveyard. And then it was brought back again from the graveyard because all the mana generated from Lotus Cobra. And that just keeps doing the Terror of the Peaks over and over again. And then finally, the Beastall Giant ended things, but it was unnecessary. Like, it was just completely unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary, I think, is a good summary for
standard.
A lot of
for the
standard as a format. A lot of the tail end of that turn, you know. there were a few points before it was all said and done where it was functionally all said and done. And that's just the power of Omnath and Lotus Cobra.
Oh, it's incredibly powerful. I mean, Lotus Cobra was such a huge force the first time it was in standard with fetch lands. Now, without fetch land, you still had Fabled Passage. I mean, it's still extremely good.
See a couple quick mulligans for Callahan, and then a keep on 5. A 1-lander with the Village Rites.
This hand's a little weird. I think I would actually keep the Lurrus. I think I would go. I would get rid of Serrated Scorpion and Whisper Squad. I would go turn 1 Archfiend's Vessel. Turn 2, I would Village Rites it to draw 2 and try to hit land drop so that I could go Lurrus on 3 and Archfiend on 4.
Tell me, I'm going to pitch something to you. Tell me how you feel about it. I really want to put Agonizing Remorse on the bottom because I think it's really difficult to keep up on 5 cards with discard effects.
Oh, I mean, that's perfectly reasonable as well. You just want more synergy-driven things. You know, like here, Nicole has basically put her only real payoff on the bottom of the deck. And the Village Rites, like, you have to gamble a little bit when you have something like Village Rites, you know?
Here's Remorse, and this might work out for Callahan. Uro going to be exiled, and then Negate and Shatterskull Smashing, the only spells left over.
That's kind of why I wanted to keep the Remorse, because if you have a turn where you just get to eat their best card, it could be the Uro, or it can be the Omnath, or even like a Genesis Ultimatum. You just like steal their one big payoff. Might buy you enough time for your mulligan to kind of get undone.
Yeah, my kind of thought was that these decks are spell heavy enough that something's going to show up and you really just want to try to win the game as quickly as possible. I mean, that was kind of the story of game 1. Callahan controlled the early game, and then eventually Tsuda did something big enough to close. We see Village Rites going to work, going to sacrifice that Scorpion. Callahan's going to look for some more pressure. There's Lurrus off the top and a Heartless Act. We can take care of this Cobra.
Wow.
We'll see if that's going to be the play.
Yeah, digging desperately to find that piece of interaction. Nicole finds it. Heartless Act killed the Cobra, and that's going to slow Tsuda down for at least another turn.
Right, Cobra down. You have a face-up Negate and a Smashing. Just going to be a land and a go. Skyclave Shade off the top for Callahan.
It's a bit of a heater.
Not a bad one. That'll combine with Archfiend's Vessel here for the turn. Tsuda can smash both of these away. But,
yeah, the Shatterskull Smashing here.
A land that could turn things around.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the land here from Tsuda into Shatterskull Smashing, kill 2 things, is like a pretty fine tempo play, but then a land plus Lurrus into Archfiend's Vessel to make a 5/5 would just be such a sick counterplay.
Here's something that is also pretty scary. Let's just cast an Omnath.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You're probably in a spot when you're playing this card where you need a really good argument to do anything else anytime you can cast it. Just like 14 lines of text. Vessel gets in for 1, no blocks there. This Lurrus is going to show up and bring back Serrated Scorpion, but we're going to see what Tsuda can do here with this unchecked Omnath.
Okay, this is the point where Clippy should pop on the screen. Clippy's just like, I'm sorry. Did you mean to let that Omnath untap? You know? Because
it appears you're trying to play against Omnath. Can I help?
Yeah. You chose pass the turn without killing Omnath. Did you mean concede button? I mean, it's not her fault. She just doesn't have the answer for it. That was a huge top deck from Tsuda. His draws this game have been quite good after that opening Agonizing Remorse. I mean, it was literally Cobra into Omnath. And now the game looks like it may just be out of reach already.
Here is Evolving Wilds. This card shows up in Standard sometimes, but I can't say it's ever looked as good as it has with Omnath here. Gain 4 life. We got 4 mana floating.
If I'm not mistaken, Evolving Wild saw a lot of play during the Fetchland era of Zendikar Block 2 because of all the landfall stuff.
Correct. You didn't have dual lands to fetch, and so like your step links played Evolving Wilds.
Mm-hmm. Like turn 1 links into turn 2 Evolving Wilds links was just not that bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Omnath, it's a bit of a different story, and when you're playing 4 colors, Evolving Wilds is not terrible. It's definitely just seen play in the past, and it was not bad.
There is an attack. Shades eaten by Omnath. Couple points come in. Shades cast from the graveyard, but Tsuda's at 17 after this combat. See another Scorpion. End step, Tsuda's going to gain 4 life with that Evolving Wilds. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, any fetch land's a good fetch land when you got Omnath on the table.
No
kidding.
Let me tell you. Omnath is not particular, as here is a Fabled Passage. Gain 4 life. Make 4 mana. Genesis Ultimatum.
That's the money card. Let's see if the game ends. Another Omnath actually allows for kind of a reset, too.
We got a Felidar or Retreat. Backup Omnath. Lotus Cobra. Here's a land, so this Omnath is going to start doing its thing. This Lotus Cobra is going to start making mana. I'm going to set the line at 2.5 Genesis Ultimatums this turn, Todd. You like the over or the under?
2.5? I think Nicole will concede before the third one, so I'm going to go with under.
That's an agreeable call.
Her deck can't really beat all the life plus all the 2/2s. Like, Demonic Embrace could have been an out if it weren't against the Feldar Retreat specifically, but not with Omnath on the battlefield already. It's just too much life gain, too much advantage. It's too much of a snowball. Like, this is picture perfect exactly why they're having a discussion to ban something. And that's, and it sucks. But, like, there's a reason why 74% of the field has registered Uro, and there's a reason why this deck is considered the best deck in the format, and it's week 1.5 or whatever. The set has been legal in paper for 1 day, and it's been legal on Arena and Magic Online and everything for a week and change.
And these mana and cards, these ramp strategies, just so much extra mana, so much card advantage, and it is some scary stuff going on here. Ayara, first of Block off the top for Callahan. That's tough going against an opponent on 28 who is really well set up on the battlefield.
Oh, for sure. There's something to be said, definitely, about having a set that has 45 cards in it that say draw a card on it. You're seeing right now what I like to call velocity. A deck generates velocity when cards replace themselves so that the engine never stops running. And here we're seeing Lotus Cobra into Omnath into Genesis Ultimatum. The turn basically, even if the turn ends, the game is out of reach. The turn only ended because they just like ran out of mana for half a second, or they ran out of like powerful, like they don't have the 7th mana to cast the other Genesis Ultimatum, or they don't have 2 blue, 2 green to bring back the Euro. But the game is well over. Outside of a combo kill, which just does not exist in the format, the game is done for.
Feldar Retreat, gonna grow the team. Team is wide and tall. You got a pair of Beanstalk Giants over there. Just trivially cast for 14 mana.
Yeah. And like that's the cool thing about this deck is that because it has so much mana, it gets to play all these basically modal spells like Beanstalk Giant, where even if you're drawing like too many of your cards like Beanstalk Giant, it doesn't matter because you just have enough mana to get full value out of them. And a bad card that costs 7 mana is still a 10/10 or 14/14 or whatever. It's like